I watched his body disappear into the cremation chamber with my own eyes. 3 hours later, I was behind the wheel, not driving home, but going to settle a debt with my husband. I wasn't going to argue. I was going to take a life. From this moment on, our marriage was no longer an arrangement. It was a reckoning. Ours had always been a contract marriage. We took what we needed and stayed out of each other's way. I paid for my ex-boyfriend's apartment. He kept his mistress in a private villa. We maintained boundaries, preserved appearances, lived like two parallel lines. Stable on the surface, cold at the core. Until she got greedy, she started crossing lines. Slowly at first, then all at once. One night, she broke into my house and set my wedding dress on fire right in front of me. I had it custom-made in Milan. It wasn't just expensive, it meant something. Or at least, I thought it did. She reduced it to ashes in seconds, then wore my wedding ring, took pictures, and posted them online like a declaration of war. Photos by photos, she set me, replacing wife with herself. He called to explain. Said she was insecure. Said I shouldn't make a big deal out of it. Said I had no reason to compete with her. I didn't yell. I didn't fight. I told him to compensate me financially and let it go. At the time, I still hadn't realized how far this would go. Not until the surgery slot I had spent 3 months begging for. Pulling strings, lowering myself was suddenly gone overnight. It was supposed to save my ex's life. Instead, it was reassigned. I traced it back and found the truth. The slot had been given to her. The reason she's emotionally unstable, she needs it more. He said it calmly, standing right in front of me, like he was adjusting a dinner reservation, not trading a human life. That was the moment everything became clear. It wasn't favoritism. It was the absence of any line he wouldn't cross. To him, a life was just currency. We missed the surgery. My ex died in my arms. It didn't take long. I held my hand, tried to say something, but never finished. I walked out of the funeral home carrying his ashes. By then, I had no tears left. Only something colder, something that had settled into my bones. This marriage had always been a slow murder. Not by knife, not by poison, but by choices, one decision at a time, pushing someone closer to death. I got in the car and drove. The city lights stretched into blurred streaks. My mind had never been clearer. I called him. He answered with a smile in his voice, like he expected me to come crawling back. He said if I apologized, he might be able to arrange another opportunity. I agreed softly, told him to send me the address. He didn't even hesitate. He was too used to being in control. I pulled up outside a private club. No hesitation. I grabbed a security baton by the entrance and kicked the door to the private room open. They were laughing about the man who had just died, like it was nothing. The first strike landed, blood splattered across the table. Silence. E shoved her behind him and shouted that I was insane. I nodded. Because he was right. The version of me he knew no longer existed, not after the moment he traded a life away. Then he changed tactics. Calmed down. Thought he had leverage again. He mentioned the necklace. The last thing my ex had ever given me. I had searched for it for years. Believed it was lost. He said if I got on my knees, apologized in front of everyone, admitted I was wrong, he would give it back. It was charity. Didn't argue. I took off my coat. The room went quiet. They were waiting for a breakdown. I knelt. My forehead hit the floor. Hard. Blood started to drip. I didn't stop, because I knew I wasn't there for dignity. He smiled. Said I had finally learned my place. Then he changed his mind. He took the necklace and threw it out the window like trash. The room exploded with laughter. They expected me to lose control. I didn't move. I just looked up at him. Do you know something? I said. There's one thing you never found out. The man you hated the most saved your life. 3 years ago, during his surgery, the organ he received was my ex's. You're alive because he died for you, and you just sent the man who saved you to his death. His face collapsed. Completely. Like something fundamental had shattered, but I didn't care anymore. Everything was already over. I had the recordings, the hospital transactions, every piece of evidence. The next morning, the news broke. A top-tier hospital exposed for illegally reassigning surgical slots. The evidence was airtight. His name was at the top. Public outrage spread fast. His company fell apart. Partnerships dissolved overnight. He went from untouchable to disposable. Even she turned on him, shifting all the blame onto his shoulders to save herself. For the first time, he understood what it felt like to be used and discarded. He came to find me, knelt outside my door all night in the rain, said he would trade his life to make it right. Said he would do anything. I looked at him and felt nothing but disgust. Life, I said. You never valued one to begin with. After that, he tried to atone, to take responsibility for everything, but it wasn't for me. It was to ease his own guilt. The day I was discharged from the hospital, he was there again, on his knees, begging for forgiveness. A man who had lost everything, even his pride. I told him, if you really want to make amends, then live. Live every day, knowing you killed the man who saved you. He broke down completely, but nothing could change. Some mistakes don't come with redemption. I turned and walked away without looking back. Between us lay 2 lives, a distance that could never be crossed. Some punishments aren't about death. They're about staying alive and rotting, one conscious day at a time.